Hey guys, and welcome back. More huge Newcastle United news. You might have seen it already. It's all over my title and thumbnail, and that's the future of St James's Park, and in particular the now confirmed expansion from the ownership. We'll get into it shortly about how it's possible that the club can expand St James's Park, but that's probably been the biggest question since the ownerships came into the club. What was going to happen to the future of the grounds? It was quite uncertain for a good amount of time until the start of last year, where Amanda came out in the Athletic and said first time that the ownership wants to stay at St James's Park. They don't have any intentions of moving the ground. And even at that part, you think, well, how can they do it? It's so restricted around the stadium. But they've seemed to have found a way to do it, and we'll explain it in this video. But anyway, guys, welcome back. If you're new around here and you like what you watch, then make sure to get down there, hit that subscribe button. We are just about to hit 40,000 subscribers, so if you haven't already done so, make sure to get down there and do that. And secondly, if you like the video, make sure to also get down there and hit that like button as well. And finally, question of the day: do you guys agree with the expansion of St James's Park, or were you in favour of moving the ground elsewhere just so we have an even bigger ground? Let me know your thoughts about that. But anyway, without further ado, we're going to have to get through some other bits of news first, and then we'll get into the expansion afterwards. Without further ado, let's get into it. First off, devastating news regarding Christian Atsu. It wasn't really something I wanted to talk about in my video, but as long as I didn't kind of put it in the title or thumbnail, make it kind of look like I'm profiting off the guy, I wanted to discuss it anyway because it's really tragic and nobody seems to know what's going on at the minute. So pretty much you haven't already seen it. Of course, there's been loads of earthquakes over in Turkey and Syria which have killed thousands of people, and our former player in Christian Atsu is one of the unfortunate people that is trapped under the rubble. Now, the belief was yesterday that he's actually been found. All the reports coming out, even Ghana themselves were putting out saying that Christian Atsu has been found and is currently recovering in hospital. But it seems to be a mistaken identity because the club doctor of the club he plays for, the player's agent himself, and there's still loads of reports coming out in Turkey saying that Atsu hasn't been found, and in fact it was a mistaken identity. So it's like the worst thing you could possibly get wrong in a report. So as things stand, of course, take everything a massive pinch of salt because it seems to be changed every couple of hours regarding Atsu. But the belief now is that he's still under the rubble. Of course, he's been missing for well over 2 days now, so it really puts him in quite a highly dangerous zone for him. So yeah, I'm hoping for good news regarding him, but I don't know what to say, to be honest. It's just an absolute disaster in Turkey. So I wish everyone all the best over there, and obviously condolences to everyone who has lost loved ones. But yeah, really nasty bit of news there, unfortunately. Before we get into the stadium expansion, we'll quickly talk you through the Bournemouth game first and whether or not Isak is returning for that game. Now, first off, just regarding our Swedish international, our record signing of well over £60 million. So a couple of weeks ago, he had a problem with his head, especially so someone booted the ball off his head, and he's been a bit dazed since. Under protocols, concussion protocols, the club's supposed to leave him out, which we'll have. But the belief now is that he has returned to training this week, and he will potentially, if not will, be in the squad against Bournemouth on Saturday. So expect him to return very soon, and it's someone that I think is going to be a bit needed. Yes, Callum Wilson scored last game. I'm still not overly keen about him, to be honest. I think he is getting into a bit more, but he still needs that second striker ready to replace him just in case. So I think getting Isak back as soon as possible is great. The two players are so contrast to each other. Bringing the likes of Isak, St Maximin off the bench seemed to really work against Southampton in the Carabao Cup. So I've got a feeling now we'll probably start Anthony Gordon against Bournemouth after St Maximin's disaster class, and we'll have him and Isak on the bench maybe to bring on for support if needed. Speaking of Bournemouth though, the 19th in the table, I've got to be real. I've watched them a few times this season. They probably are the worst team in the league. I haven't enjoyed watching them. I really think they're treading on thin ice. I just can't see them staying up, to be honest. So it's important for Newcastle to make sure we can go out there and get the 3 points. We've had an amazing season. We've only lost once in 21 games, but we are dropping quite a few points. We're just drawing too many games. You can't draw 10 games out of 20 and expect to get the top 4. So If Newcastle want to finish in the top four, they've got to make sure we can win games. We seem to have a problem of converting chances, so let's make sure against Bournemouth we can go out there and just get a comfortable win. It's been a long time since I've said that Newcastle have comfortably won a game, so let's try and do that. But yeah, I just want to update you about that, guys. Anyway, there will be an overnight stay on the channel next couple of days anyway, so I'll probably talk to you a bit more through the game then. But yeah, just a quick heads up regarding the Bournemouth match. On to the moment you've all been waiting for now, the future plans of St James's Park. It's now been confirmed that the club is going to expand St James's Park long term. We'll explain the plans short term now. Craig Hope has dropped an exclusive this morning saying that the club is going to be expanding the ground. We'll talk you through all of that, but yeah, I just want to let you know first that Craig Hope has put the article out, to make sure to go check it out for yourselves. By the time I upload this video, it would only been out for about 1 hour, so you've got plenty of time to get into it, have a read for yourselves, and chances are we'll probably make a second video where I actually go more in depth about the stadium plans. I go around St James's Park and we'll show you everything you need to know about the ground. But for now, I just want to quickly make it just a bit concise if we can get out straight away. So yeah, just regarding the plans actually, so you already know firsthand that we can't expand the East Stand due to the Grade 2 listed buildings behind it. As for the Leazes stand behind there, you've got Leazes Park, which under the Public Act of, I believe it was 1982, there's a Public Act where you can't build onto that park. And you would have public outrage as well from the people that live there, so that was a big problem. Regarding the Milburn stand behind that, we've got the roads and you've got all the construction down there, so you just can't even build in that. Bearing in mind, we've already got that one high enough as it is. So the only stand left you had that was possible was the Gallowgate end. But the problem with the Gallowgate end's always been that the land behind the Gallowgate end has been soaked by Mike Ashley, so he's actually soaked this to turn it into new buildings. The plot twist though, and the really good news for Newcastle, is that we're actually being able to buy the land back. We have successfully bought the land back behind the Gallowgate stand. So over time, we're planning on expanding that side of St James's Park, which was the area where we needed to expand anyway, so the club has got a massive win there. We still have got some problems regarding that though, because you've got to sort out a lot of things beforehand. First off, is it possible to actually expand St James's Park without destroying the Strawberry pub? You got that. The road behind the Gallowgate end is actually used by the NHS to get to the RVI. So you've got to have a new road in place, because otherwise the extra minute or so it take to get the RVI will actually get some people killed. So you've got to think about that. As well as that, you've got the metro ones under the Gallowgate end. You've actually got to completely fill all that up before you can even think of building on top of it, due to the geometry of how it works. So you've got all those factors look into it. Of course, the actual expansion itself, you've got to have architects in there making sure they can get the exact inner workings of the ground good. But the positive news is though we have actually bought the land. The fact that the club has bought the land makes them think that they can expand the ground, and they plan on doing that. But in Craig Hope's article, they've stated that short term the club is using the area behind the Gallowgate to turn it into a fan zone. So I'm not entirely sure how it's going to work before a game. You're going to turn it into a fan zone. I don't know what they're going to do. They're going to put bouncy castles there or have little bars outside maybe. I don't know how that's going to work. It's quite intriguing about a fan zone. I don't believe it would be for the cup final, by the way, in case you guys get mixed up for that. I think it's actually meant to be for next season onwards. But what would actually do with a fan zone outside St James's Park? That's a bit interesting. So keep an eye on that. The club's probably got some plans and activities and stuff like that they will want to do there. So yeah, that was the short-term plan of it. And of course, long-term will be actually expanding the area itself, which is huge. You've seen it first time in the cup final, how many people wanted to go to the final. You got that problem as well at St James's Park. If we wanted to, we could double the capacity of the stadium, but it would sell out. So you've got all these people wanting to buy tickets, but you haven't got the seats available. So the club is losing out on revenue. Even without looking at the fan side of thing, the club is losing out on revenue because they can't get more people into the stadium. So in a business sense, it makes a lot of sense for them to do that. Of course, in a fan sense, well, you've got all these fans wanting to go in. They can't go in. The club obviously wants people to go in and enjoy watching their team play. So that's in their best interest and their main intention to make sure they can get St James's Park expanded, which they are doing now. Huge bit of news for you guys there. I'm sure, hope you're all happy about that one. I bet you will be. But yeah, make sure let me know your thoughts down below about that. If you want me to do a second video where I go more in depth about it and actually make it more interactive, so I'm around the ground and we'll get plenty of the information out of the way, make sure to let me know. This is just a short-term video now where I can quickly get out there. You guys know what's going on and everyone's happy. So I want to thank you guys for watching. Take care, let me know your thoughts down below, and I will see you all in the next one.